So Lucas was about to go in for operation number 16 and I was racking my brain trying to work out how I was going to tell him he needed another operation. The last few times that he was going in, he'd started to cotton on to what was happening, and it just became traumatic. And it wasn't just traumatic for him, it was traumatic for everyone involved, because he'd go in and you'd have to hold him down on the bed while he's kicking and screaming and begging you to stop and to let him go. And I'm thinking to myself, how am I going to tell him? Do I tell him the night before that he's going in for surgery? Do I wait until we get there and spring it on him? And a parent in that position, it's really hard to work out how you're going to let them know that, sorry mate, you're going in for another operation, and yep, it's going to be like every other time. And I was desperate for a way to relieve some of that anxiety for him and to make it less traumatic, not just for him, but for me taking him in to put him under, and for the doctors who had to force the mask on his face to get him to sleep. And at the time, my baby was in hospital. He'd just been born, so this was almost 12 months ago. He'd just had his first operation at 3 days old, and I'd come home and you know, to have a bit of a break from hospital. I'd had a shower, freshened up, and on my way back to hospital, I'm sitting at the traffic lights and I'm thinking, what am I going to do to tell Lucas? Like, I'm going through this with the baby now. He's having surgery. It's a scary thing for kids. What on earth am I going to tell Lucas? And I'm in my car and I'm stopped at the lights, and I look out towards the sky, and I see this rainbow. And the idea kind of just popped into my head, like, I'll tell him that the mask that they put on his face is full of rainbow medicine, and what goes in the mask smells like a rainbow. I thought, that's a really cool idea. And so I rang my husband straight away and I was like, do not let me forget this idea. I've just thought of something really cool to tell Lucas for when he goes in for his operation, to kind of, you know, make it maybe exciting for him rather than something that's really scary. And so I start driving, and as I do when I have one of those ideas, my brain starts ticking over, and I'm like, this could be a really cool book. So I got to the hospital and quite literally walked into Kallen's room. You know, he was in special care nursery at that point. I walked into Kallen's room and I've just verbal vomit told Dion all about this book idea, and I've blah, 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 this is my idea. And so I started researching straight away, you know, what you need to do to write a children's book. I'd even emailed our lawyer within the, you know, first few minutes of being in the room telling Dion about my idea. Said to the lawyer, what do I need to do copyright wise? And I've got this great idea for a children's book. And so a little bit of time went past, you know, we're up and down, in and out of hospital. A little bit of time went past before I actually put pen to paper, but the idea was sitting there in the back of my head waiting to be hatched. And it was leading up to Lucas going in for this operation, and I thought, I'll write the story down so I can tell it to him. So I wrote, can you smell the rainbow? And the night before Lucas's surgery, I sat down with him and I said, mate, you're going in for an operation tomorrow, but I have to tell you something. It's going to be a little bit different this time. When they put the mask on your face, you need to smell really, really hard, and there's a rainbow in that mask. You'll be able to smell the rainbow medicine when they put it on your face. And straight away, he's intrigued. He's wondering what this rainbow smell is. And anyway, we get to the hospital, and look, he still got nervous. He was still a bit scared, but nothing like what he was for his last operation. He went in, he laid down, and you know, he's saying to me, I want to smell the rainbow. So we get him on the bed and put the mask on his face, and you know, it was so much easier this time around. And so yeah, I sort of started refining my story, and then I started taking it to publishers and to book agents. And as you do with these sort of things, children's books are a highly saturated market, and it's very, very hard to break into. And I got rejection after rejection after rejection. And I was told, your story is great, but this is a highly saturated market. It's really competitive. We're not taking new authors. That sort of feedback was coming back to me, and I got disheartened, as you do, and when you get rejection. So I kind of thought, you know what, stuff it. I can do this myself. I can publish a book myself. I've got the determination, I've got the drive, I can get the resources to do it. So I started plans to self-publish. We're at a stage now where the book is in illustration and it's going to come out on the 1st of June. So the pre-sales are on at the moment, and you can purchase the book via my website. And then you'll have your copy coming out to you in June. In the first week, we'll be sending out our first copies.